Taylor Swift sat at the kitchen table in their Kansas City home, the glow of her laptop reflecting in her eyes, phone pressed to her ear. January 20th, 2026. The day she had been dreaming about for decades had arrived, yet it carried with it a tension she hadn't anticipated. The Recording Academy had just offered her something unprecedented, a special 20-minute Grammy performance that would showcase her entire career. From the first strums of her country guitar to the glittering pop anthems that had dominated charts worldwide, this was more than a performance. It was a coronation, a moment that could redefine her legacy and cement her place as one of the greatest artists of her generation. "Yes, I understand the dates," she said into the phone, biting her lip nervously. January 28th through February 9th for rehearsals in Europe, with the performance on February 10th in Los Angeles. "I'll make it work." Her voice carried a forced confidence, but inside, she felt the gnawing tug of anxiety. Europe in 10 days, a full orchestra, rehearsals, stage direction, choreography, it was everything she had ever wanted, but at a cost she hadn't yet quantified. Travis Kelce walked into the kitchen, still in his practice gear from the morning session. He paused when he saw Taylor, sensing the tension that hung in the air like an invisible weight. He leaned against the counter, waiting silently for her to hang up. She did, finally, and Travis kissed the top of her head gently, picking up a bottle of water from the fridge. "What was that about?" he asked, tilting his head, his eyes scanning her expression. Taylor looked up at him, her inner conflict visible. "The Grammys, they want me to do a career retrospective. 20 minutes, full orchestra, rehearsals in Europe for 2 weeks before the show." "That's amazing, babe," Travis said, a genuine smile breaking through, but it faltered when she continued. "But the problem," Taylor said, biting her lip again, "rehearsals start January 28th. Travis felt the familiar twist in his stomach. He didn't need his phone to know what those dates meant. February 2nd, the AFC Championship, the conference finals. And if the Chiefs won, the Super Bowl would fall on February 9th. The stakes were monumental, not just any game, but potentially the pinnacle of his career, a chance at his 4th Super Bowl ring. "Taylor," he said slowly, his voice lowering, "those are the conference finals. And potentially Super Bowl weekend." "I know," Taylor said quietly, looking down at her hands. "But Travis, this is once in a lifetime. The Recording Academy has never offered anyone this kind of showcase. It's basically a coronation." Travis set down his water bottle with more force than intended, frustration and disbelief battling in his chest. "And you won't be there?" "I'll be there for the Super Bowl if you make it," Taylor said defensively. "I can fly back for the game. It's just the conference finals I'd miss." Travis's eyes widened. "Just the conference finals? The game that determines whether we even make it to the Super Bowl? The most important game of my career?" Taylor stood, her frustration rising. "Travis, you have a game every week during football season. This is one performance, one night, representing my entire career. And you've been to how many of my games?" Travis countered sharply. "Dozens? Hundreds? I've rearranged everything to support you. I've flown across the country to be there. Sat through hours of concerts, rain or shine. And the one time I ask for your support, it's too much." Taylor's voice trembled. "I've given up so much for this relationship. I've arranged tours around your season. I've prioritized us in every way, except when it matters most. Except when I actually need you there," Travis said, pain lacing his voice. For a heartbeat, silence fell between them. Then, words flew like arrows. Guilt, fear, resentment, and love all collided in the cramped kitchen. "Maybe you should feel guilty," Travis said, almost regretting it immediately. Taylor's face went pale, then hard. "Get out," she said. "If you think I should feel guilty for pursuing my career, then I don't want you here right now." Travis froze, then slowly moved toward the stairs, his hand brushing the wall. His duffel bag and keys in hand, he paused at the door, a last glance at Taylor before stepping into the world outside. The sound of his truck starting was the only answer she heard before she collapsed into the chair, sobbing harder than she had in years. For the next 3 days, barely a word passed between them. Texts were limited to logistics, flight schedules, rehearsals, practice times, never touching the real pain beneath. Taylor tried to bury herself in preparation for the Grammy, but the heaviness in her chest refused to dissipate. Her heart was somewhere else, with Travis, alone and angry, preparing for what could be the most important game of his career. The morning light spilled through the kitchen windows, illuminating the silent battlefield that had once been filled with laughter and love. Taylor sat with her laptop closed, the screen dark, her hands wrapped around a mug of coffee that had long since gone cold. Travis had been gone for 3 days. 3 days of barely exchanged texts, of planning flights and rehearsals, yet never touching the heart of what had erupted between them. Each text, each small logistical detail felt hollow. The real conversation, the one that mattered, was still waiting, unspoken, festering, burning a hole in both of their hearts. Taylor's thoughts kept returning to the call she had received just this morning from Brittany Mahomes. Brittany had tried to warn her. "He needs you," she said gently but firmly. Taylor had nodded silently, swallowing hard, heart pounding. Her own desires, the Grammy performance, the chance of a lifetime, clashed violently against her love for Travis. She had rehearsed for this moment countless times in her head, imagining a career-defining night on the Grammy stage, but now she could not imagine stepping onto that stage without first being sure Travis was okay. Meanwhile, Travis sat alone in the basement of Jason and Kylie's home, ankle elevated, fingers tapping against the tablet as he reviewed game film. His mind wasn't on defensive schemes or the Bills' tendencies, it was on Taylor. The argument replayed endlessly in his head, the words sharp as knives. Her decision to leave for London without hesitation had cut deeper than any tackle or injury ever could. His mind wavered between pride and frustration, love and betrayal, a tug-of-war that left him exhausted before the game had even begun. When Taylor finally arrived, her heart hammering, she moved silently down the stairs. She hadn't rehearsed this reunion in her mind, it was too real, too raw. Kylie opened the basement door, pulling her into a quick, tight hug. "He has no idea you're here," Kylie whispered. "He thinks you're on a plane to London." Taylor nodded, her throat tight, holding back tears. Every step toward Travis felt like walking on glass. She could feel the weight of the past days, the anger, the hurt, the fear of loss pressing down on her chest. She stepped into the basement, careful not to jostle his injured leg, and softly spoke, "Your defensive scheme analysis is wrong." Travis snapped his head up, eyes widening. "Taylor? What, you're supposed to be on a plane to London." "I was," she admitted softly, sitting beside him. "I was at the gate. I was about to board when I saw the article about your ankle injury." His automatic response, "It's fine," rang hollow. Taylor saw past the words, into the tight jaw, the clenched fists, the way he shifted his weight to protect his ankle. "It's not fine," she said gently. "And neither are we." For a long, quiet moment, they simply stared at one another, the tension thick and suffocating. Then words poured out, jagged and raw. Taylor confessed her fear of missing the Grammy performance, the opportunity that might never come again. Travis admitted his fear of facing the conference finals and the possibility of the Super Bowl without her by his side. Each revelation was a dagger and a bomb at once, cutting and healing simultaneously. "I was wrong," Travis said finally, voice breaking. "I said you should feel guilty. That was cruel." Taylor shook her head, tears spilling down her cheeks. "I was wrong, too. I got so caught up in what I wanted that I didn't see what you needed. And when I finally realized it, I almost got on a plane and left you alone for the most important game of your career." They reached for each other instinctively, hands clasping, fingers entwining, seeking grounding and reassurance. Travis whispered, "I was scared because I play better when you're in the stands." Knowing you weren't going to be there made me feel like I was facing this alone. Taylor's eyes glistened with tears as she held his hand firmly. You're never alone. Not now. Not ever. They leaned into each other, foreheads touching, hearts racing in a synchronized rhythm. For the first time in days, the anger and hurt started to melt away. The choice they had both feared they would have to make, a choice between career and love, no longer seemed like an impossible divide. They were here, together, in the moment that truly mattered. Even as they sat there, the shadows of the past argument lingered, whispering fears about the Grammy performance, the European rehearsals, the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity she had been forced to walk away from. Yet the realization was undeniable, for Taylor and Travis, the heart always had to come first. The sterile white lights of LAX felt almost cruel that morning, casting sharp shadows across Taylor's face as she sat at the gate, hands wrapped around her carry-on. She had gone through security, already checked her bags, bought a coffee she hadn't touched. Everything had been planned to the minute. Everything except the pull in her heart, the invisible thread that led back to Travis. Her phone buzzed. A notification from ESPN made her stomach drop. Travis Kelce injury update. Hands trembling, she tapped the screen. Travis had left practice early, aggravating a previous ankle injury. He was questionable for the January 26 conference finals against the Buffalo Bills. Her chest tightened as she reread the words. Injured. Possibly sidelined. Facing the biggest game of his career. And they hadn't spoken for days. Taylor's phone rang almost immediately after she set it down. Brittany Mahomes. Taylor, have you seen the news about Travis? Brittany's voice was gentle but urgent. I just saw it, Taylor admitted, voice barely above a whisper. How bad is it? Brittany asked carefully. Patrick says it's worse than they're letting on. He's trying to push through, but the medical team is concerned. He might not play. Taylor's breath caught. Is he okay? I mean, beyond the injury. Brittany hesitated, then said softly, Taylor, he's not good. Everyone knows you two are fighting. He's distracted, angry, not himself. He needs you. Taylor felt the weight of the decision crushing her chest. Her mind raced, Grammy rehearsals in Europe. The once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But here was Travis, hurt, alone, and facing the biggest game of his career without her support. The contracts had been signed, the production team was expecting her in London tomorrow, and yet her heart was screaming in a different direction. Her fingers shook as she called her manager. I need you to call the recording academy. Tell them I can't do the European rehearsals. I'll do whatever they need in LA the week of the show, but I can't leave the country. Her manager's voice was sharp with panic. Taylor, they might pull the performance slot entirely. Then they pull it, she said firmly. I have to go. Her hands trembled as she dialed Jason Kelce. Jason, it's Taylor. Travis, is he there? Yeah, he's in the basement, watching game film, Jason said. Don't tell him you're coming. I won't, Taylor whispered. I'll be there in 45 minutes. The drive felt endless. Every red light, every turn stretched time into something torturous. She rehearsed her words over and over in her mind, trying to find the perfect explanation for abandoning the Grammy. But there was no explanation, no justification that could matter more than Travis himself. Her heart knew the answer before her mind could process it. Pulling into Jason and Kylie's driveway, Taylor sat for a moment in the car, shaking uncontrollably. This was more than a visit, it was a pilgrimage to the person she loved, the person who needed her now more than ever. Gathering courage, she stepped out and moved toward the house. Kylie opened the door before she could knock, pulling her into a quick, tight embrace. He has no idea, Kylie whispered. He thinks you're on a plane. Taylor nodded, swallowing hard. Every step down the stairs toward the basement felt like walking into the eye of a storm. She could hear the familiar sounds of football commentary from the home theater, the analysts breaking down plays, the methodical cadence of game film. Then she saw him. Travis was slouched on the couch, eyes red, posture defeated. His injured ankle rested on a pillow, tablet in hand. He hadn't seen her yet, but she could feel the raw vulnerability radiating from him. Her chest ached. The Grammy, the opportunity, everything else, none of it mattered. Not compared to him. Taylor cleared her throat softly. Your defensive scheme analysis is wrong. Travis looked up, disbelief written across his face. Taylor? What, you're supposed to be on a plane to London. I was, she admitted. But I saw the article about your ankle. It's not fine, Travis. And neither are we. The weight of those words hung in the air, thick and suffocating. In that moment, the fight, the distance, the misunderstanding, they all collided. But for the first time in days, there was clarity. Taylor knew what mattered most. She wasn't choosing between career and love, she was choosing love, and somehow, she hoped, the world would bend to accommodate that. Taylor knelt beside Travis, careful not to disturb his injured ankle. The room smelled faintly of leather, popcorn, and the faint tang of cleaning supplies, comforting in its ordinary familiarity, grounding her amid the storm of emotion. She reached for his hand, fingers trembling, and he met her gaze, eyes wide with disbelief, relief, and vulnerability. You gave up the Grammy rehearsals, Travis said softly, almost in awe, almost afraid he might wake from a dream. Taylor shook her head, tears slipping down her cheeks. No. Everything I want is right here, with you. Not the Grammy, not the career retrospective, not any stage or spotlight. You. For a long moment, silence enveloped them, only broken by the faint commentary from the analysts on the game film. Then, Taylor whispered, I was so focused on my opportunity, on what I wanted, that I wasn't seeing what you needed. And Travis, you were right. You've shown up for me, for every album, every award, every time I needed support. And I almost walked away when you needed me most. Travis's chest rose and fell rapidly, his own tears spilling as he exhaled. I was scared. I was angry, yes, but that wasn't the whole truth. I was scared because you weren't going to be there. When you're in the stands, I play better. I feel stronger. And knowing you might not be there, it made me feel like I was facing the biggest game of my career alone. Taylor squeezed his hand. You're never alone, Travis. Not now, not ever. I'm here. And I'm not going anywhere. They sat together, letting the weight of the past days melt away slowly. Each tear shed, each shaky breath, each whispered confession pulled them closer, repairing what had been broken. There was no room for pride here, no place for the ego or the tension of careers clashing. Just them, two hearts realizing that love sometimes demanded courage far greater than any performance or championship. Travis let out a long, shuddering breath. I don't want you to give up your Grammy for me. I'm not giving it up, Taylor said, voice firm. I called my manager. I'll do all the rehearsals I need here in LA. If the Recording Academy still wants me to perform, I'll make it work around your games. And if they pull the slot, then it wasn't meant to be. But I couldn't leave you. Not now. Not for the conference finals. Not for the Super Bowl. I'm not missing you. A silence settled over them, but it was different now, warm, tender, full of unspoken understanding. Travis pulled her closer, mindful of his ankle, and whispered, I love you. I love you too, Taylor said, voice trembling. And I'm sorry for making you feel like your career didn't matter. Travis shook his head. And I'm sorry for making you feel guilty for pursuing your dreams. They matter. They've always mattered. Just, don't ever leave me wondering again. Taylor rested her forehead against his. I won't. I promise. We've both learned something these past few days. Love isn't about choosing one over the other, it's about standing together when it matters most. Slowly, laughter bubbled between them, shaky at first, then more genuine, as relief and gratitude replaced the tension and fear. Travis grinned, still holding her, and asked playfully, "So, want to help me watch game film on the Bills' defense?" Taylor laughed through her tears. "I thought you'd never ask." For the first time in days, the world felt right again. Careers, Grammy stages, and championship games could wait for now. What mattered was here, in the warmth of their embrace, in the knowledge that they had chosen each other when it counted most. The Kansas City Stadium roared with anticipation. The cold air stung Taylor's cheeks, but she barely noticed. She was standing in the family box, wearing Travis's jersey, heart racing, adrenaline coursing through her veins. This was it, the conference finals, the moment Travis had trained for all season. And this time, she was here, exactly where she was meant to be. As the game began, Taylor couldn't help but replay the past week in her mind. The argument, the distance, the phone calls, the silent days where neither had reached out. She had almost gotten on a plane to London, leaving Travis alone at the most critical moment of his career. Almost. But now she was here, and with every snap, every tackle, every play, she felt the full weight of their love and the sacrifices they had both made. Travis limped slightly as he moved across the field, his ankle wrapped and supported, but his focus was razor-sharp. Every glance toward the stands was filled with longing, searching, until his eyes found Taylor. Her hand pressed to her mouth, tears threatening to fall. Her presence was the boost he needed. It was more than support, it was a lifeline, a tether to home, to love, to everything that mattered beyond the field. The game was a grueling battle, each team pushing to the brink. Taylor's nerves were frayed, her heart pounding in her chest, yet she cheered with unwavering devotion. She had realized something crucial in the past few days: career accolades were fleeting, awards and performances could come and go, but moments like this, moments of love, courage, and togetherness, were irreplaceable. In the final minutes, the Chiefs were down by 3 points. 47 seconds left on the clock. The ball snapped, Travis sprinted down the field, ankle screaming in protest but determination blazing in his eyes. Quarterback eyes him, throws the ball with perfect timing. Time seemed to stretch. And then, Travis catches it. Touchdown. The crowd erupts. Taylor is on her feet, screaming, crying, cheering, heart exploding with pride and relief. Travis runs toward the stands immediately after the touchdown, eyes locked on Taylor. He points upward, a triumphant gesture meant only for her. Her tears stream freely now, blending with the icy wind on her cheeks. In that instant, the weeks of tension, the argument, the fear, and the uncertainty all dissolve. Love had prevailed, and they were both stronger for it. After the game, the field is a blur of celebration, confetti, and flashing cameras, but Taylor and Travis find each other amidst the chaos. No words are needed. They hold each other tightly, aware of every scar and sacrifice, every sleepless night and grueling practice. They had chosen each other when it mattered most, and now they were here, together, victorious both on the field and in the heart. As the stadium empties and the adrenaline fades, Taylor reflects on the choice she had made at the airport, the decision to put love first. The Grammy performance still awaited her, a monumental event in her career, but for the first time, she understands that true triumph is measured not by applause or accolades, but by the people you choose to stand by, the love you nurture, and the priorities you hold sacred. In the quiet aftermath, Travis looks at her, his 4th Super Bowl ring glinting even in the dim light. "Thank you for being here," he whispers. Taylor smiles, tears still wet on her cheeks. "Thank you for teaching me what really matters." Theirs is a moment suspended in time, a perfect intersection of career, love, and devotion. And while the Grammy performance looms, Taylor knows that the lessons of these past days, the understanding of priorities, sacrifice, and unwavering support, will shape not only her performance but the rest of their lives together. The night of February 10th arrived with a buzz that electrified Los Angeles. Red carpets, flashing cameras, and the glimmering lights of the Grammy stage welcomed the city's biggest stars. But for Taylor, the moment felt quieter than usual. Behind the glitz and glamour, her mind was with Travis. He had played in the conference finals, conquering his injury, securing the victory she had been there to witness. Now, he would be in the front row, watching her perform, their love and dedication intertwined across stadiums and stages. Backstage, Taylor paced, adjusting her costume, her nerves mingling with excitement. The condensed rehearsals in LA had been intense, but she had poured her heart into every movement, every note, every crescendo. The music swelled, reminding her of the choices she had made, the fight to balance love and ambition, and the lessons learned about priorities and devotion. Finally, the announcement came. Taylor Swift, 20-minute career retrospective. The crowd erupted as she stepped onto the stage, the light spotlighting her presence, the orchestra swelling behind her. She opened with her earliest hits, the country roots that had captured hearts worldwide. Then the transitions, bold, powerful, and moving through her evolution into pop dominance. Each song, each note, resonated not just with the audience but with her personal journey. In the front row, Travis watched, eyes shining, his hand resting gently on hers as they shared a quiet, grounding moment. He had seen her struggle, understood her sacrifice, and now he witnessed her triumph. Every lyric, every movement, every emotion on stage reflected the story of their love, the fight, the reconciliation, the unwavering choice to support one another through impossible decisions. The performance reached its climax with her most iconic hits, a culmination of years of artistry and dedication. The audience rose to their feet, applause thunderous, echoing in the vast auditorium. And Taylor, amidst the standing ovation, found her eyes on Travis. She mouthed the words silently, "Thank you for teaching me about priorities." Travis smiled, tears streaming down his face. He mouthed back, "Thank you for choosing us." The rest of the night was a blur of accolades, congratulations, and media frenzy, but in that front row seat, Travis and Taylor had found their equilibrium. The Grammy was monumental, career-defining, but it paled in comparison to the affirmation that love, support, and understanding had remained their foundation. Later, as the crowd dispersed and the lights dimmed, Taylor and Travis stepped into a quiet corridor backstage. She leaned against him, feeling the warmth and solidity of his presence. "I never want to choose career over us again," she whispered. Travis kissed her forehead gently. "And I'll never doubt you again. We've learned something priceless." They stood together, two hearts aligned, their individual dreams no longer at odds but complementary, supported by trust, sacrifice, and unwavering devotion. The Grammy would forever remain a highlight in Taylor's career, just as the Super Bowl would forever remain a testament to Travis's determination. But the real triumph, the lasting victory, was the one they had won together, choosing each other, facing life's impossible decisions side by side, and emerging stronger than ever. Outside, the city buzzed with celebration, lights reflecting off skyscrapers, neon signs, and camera flashes. But inside, Taylor and Travis had created their own sanctuary, a quiet, enduring triumph, the kind that no stage or stadium could ever replicate. And as they walked hand in hand into the night, hearts full and fears behind them, one truth remained crystal clear: sometimes the most important choices are not about opportunity or fame, but about the people we love, the priorities we set, and the courage to stand together, no matter what. Taylor's career soared, Travis's legacy strengthened, but above all, their love had endured, the ultimate victory, the ultimate performance, and the ultimate story of hearts that chose each other first.